it's hard to believe it's been 25 years since you guys were together and made that run to the championship, and B, the hold you guys still possess, not only in this town but throughout the league. Whenever that team is brought up,
Is it hard to believe it's been 25 years? No, because I have children that are in college and out of college. So I have children that weren't born that are in high school. So it's not hard for me to believe it's been 25 years. But I can say I'm not surprised because we had a iconic run, but we have an iconic player too. And it was different. It was unique. The city and the players, it was such a connection that I can say to this day, everywhere I've been, and I've traveled to other countries and I've been to every state, well, except two. And I'm always asked about this team. People are always, even, when I'm in Philly, it's the tremendous amount of attention and questions, but even like everywhere I've gone, I'm asked about that team. So it's a connection somehow. I mean, I think that the kind of the way we played, we weren't really expected to kind of do what we did. So I think a lot of people gravitated to that, and it's still there. So I guess it does surprise me, but I'm not surprised because I kind of feel it when I'm out and about.
Let me say this, that the heart he's talking about starts right here. You know Allen Iverson. You know our Bubba Chuck. Bubba Chuck wouldn't be Bubba Chuck without Snowman. He watched his back every game. He talked in his ear every game in that locker room. I know because Allen could play the way he did because he had him watching his back. Eric Snow was an integral part of the championship season. Of the 5 years, when did you come in? 4 years?
No, I came in for the year before the lockout.
Yeah.
4 years. Yeah, 4 years with us.
It was a little more than 4, but yeah.
Was he first year?
But no, he came in the second year, but
Yeah.
he's saying his whole run here in the Sixers was longer.
Yeah.
I don't care after I left.
Oh yeah, he was counting your years. Okay.
Yeah.
were these the intangibles you were looking for when you and Pat assembled the squad? There's something that Eric talked about and Pat has talked about. Were those part of the intangibles you thought this team had when the squad was assembled?
Well, when you had a talent like Allen, you had to build a team to fit him. And so I remember talking to Larry quite a bit, and Larry had the vision to get him off the ball, get him to a 2-guard, but we needed a bigger guard that could play point guard and defend some of the guards that Allen couldn't guard. And I remember Larry and I talking, and we were saying, we were watching Eric, we were in Seattle, and he was the 4th point guard there. And we're like, we think he could be that. And so we asked, I think I called Wally Walker, said, would you take a second-round pick for him? And he goes, yeah. And and that's where it started. And it was like, let's get George Lynch because we need somebody that can defend the 3. Then the big one was, Larry and I looked, we needed a shot blocker. And it was like, we knew Allen and Jerry Stackhouse wasn't going to fit. And so we kept calling Detroit about Theo. And then they said, we had to include Aaron for cap purposes. And we definitely would take Aaron McKee. So it was more just building pieces. And it started with defense. We wanted guys that would play defense. Larry was a guy that I knew from coaching with him that didn't care if you could shoot it. He wanted guys that can play defense, and he'd figure out how to score. So that's where we just started building guys that could play defense, shot blocking, and because we knew we had a dynamic score. And but we built with guys that understood winning. Eric, came from Michigan State, a winning program. George, I hate to say it, but Carolina, a winning program. And Aaron McKee at Temple for John Chaney. These guys understood what it took to win. Yeah, I had to say that in the Carolinas.
I figured we'd be good.
Yeah.
Eric, one of the themes that season were some of the injuries you guys had to play through. I know you had the ankle and then even the playoffs. How were you guys able to play through all the injuries, and what does that speak about the mentality of that group?
I mean, it was really the next man up. I mean, when I was out, Aaron came in and played extremely well. When George was out, JJ stepped in, and JJ was young. Was it the first or second year?
Yeah.
So But I just think that it was the way we practiced and prepared that we knew that everybody had their job and everybody did their job and they had their responsibilities. So the next person came in and all he had to do was take care of his job and that helped. But I do think that the team that Coach Brown and Pat and BK put together was very versatile, where guys could guard multiple positions, they could play multiple positions. So I think that helped with the injuries because we had guys that could. They weren't particularly stuck in one position. They were so flexible that kind of helped us when guys went down.
Could each of you give us your favorite moment from that season, or maybe even just from the playoff run? Because there were so many. You know, guys from the other team missing shots at the buzzer, Allen stepping over Tyron. You know, all that stuff. Is there a moment that sticks out in your minds, each of you, that it sort of resonates for you to this day?
For me, it was game one of the playoffs and Indiana beating us because at that point, fear came in that we're going to lose in the first round, and so I think the focus became from after that for the players and everybody. We've got to take care of business because it was a 5-game series then. So that to me, I always remember that losing Reggie Miller, hitting that jumper, that right there because I think it made us all realize that we could lose in this playoffs. And I think everybody focused even more. And we took care of business with Indiana. And even the next series against Toronto, they beat us. We were like, okay, we got to come back. So those game sevens, but I think that first game, I think if we'd have walked through that series, Indiana, and swept them, I don't know if we'd had that same focus to get to the finals. But I think that woke us up right there. For me, it did, I know.
How about you, Pat?
Well, for a downer, that first game, I wanted to kill everyone. I thought, no, 3 years in a row. I hate yellow to this day. Seeing that color. It was game 7, second series with Toronto. That boom, 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 back and forth. And that Carter gets the ball. I mean, everyone held their breath. It went in the air. I mean, it looked perfect. It was just, like it was just one of those moments where you just exploded and anything could have happened. So to that day, I still feel that jubilation and the celebration.
How about you, Eric?
For me, I guess I could probably give 2 answers. Individually, probably game 5 in Milwaukee, the first game from playing with my broken ankle, because I was told not to play. And I was told that whatever you could do, you could do. Like, so I did not think I could play. Going into the game, it was like, I'll just try. And ended up hitting the game-winning shot. So that from that particular, most people think it's the shot against LA, but I would pick that shot over the Lakers shot. Collectively,
But that was a good shot.
collectively, as a team and as an organization, I would say just winning the Eastern Conference and holding the trophy in front of our home fans and actually getting to the finals. Even though we did not win, we were still able to put banners up and to have that feeling and to like the feeling that you had going around the city at that time during that run was just like, I mean, I could go to a 7-Eleven and they just everybody, like everywhere you went, the enthusiasm and excitement. And so to kind of see it, and then people were telling me that they've been season tickets and they never experienced it, like that whole feeling was tremendous because we had been to the playoffs before, but that year was different, and it was special.
Pat, did you, in the moment, have any, I guess, could you conceive of how big Allen would be in that moment? How big he would be still today, and how much he meant socially to the game? What an icon he would become. Could you sense that in that era?
He was to me. How he manifested to everyone else. it just was a ripple effect because he never was a fake. If you saw the heart in that man and you saw that he played his guts out every game he was on that court, I just loved him, and I feel everyone else fell in love with him. And if you're asking how he changed the culture, no, I had no clue. However, I wasn't one who disciplined him. In fact, I would negotiate with David Stern. Yo, no, wait, he's okay. He's okay.
Take one last question.
Yeah. But the one thing I want to add on that is to today with Allen, when you look around, you see people wearing number 3, or you see people with the cornrows or the tattoos. It shows you the impact because it's been 25 years since this team, but you see people wearing 3, and that's why they're wearing it, or the cornrows. And like Pat said, he did it and didn't care what anybody thought. And at the time, people were like, why is he wearing the corner? Why does he have all the tattoos? Why is he? But now it's accepted that people, and I think it was because of him.
He took a lot of the hits that a lot of guys get credit for now. He took all those hits.
Yeah.
How you dress, how you look, the tattoos. He took a lot of those hits. I mean, people don't even understand that he took a hit for wearing the arm sleeve.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing he actually needed. He had bursitis and he still got criticized for it. But I know I have 2 high school kids that never seen him play. And I coach high school and I coach travel basketball. And none of those kids seen him play. They all know him. They all love him. It's absolutely amazing. Like that, the one request that I had coming here was, is Allen Iverson going to be there? And can we see him? Can you say hi? Like I've put guys on the phone with him and they're just like amazed. It's just a phone call. So, and never seen him play, but that's a tremendous feeling for them. So I know the impact that he has even to this day.
How cool is it that we all got to experience him in his play at that time?
For that size. I mean, pound for pound, the best at that size ever played a game.
How do you guys think media coverage has changed since that time?
It's media coverage. I mean, Philly's different than most cities because my kids ask me this question all the time, like, how would I function with social media? Like they do ask me that question. I don't really have an answer. I do know that the press, and in particular in Philly, the press and radio was almost like social media in Philly. People having their individual opinions brought out to other people. That's how I view it. But you have more of that now. But at the same time, just like you could then, you can do it now and you can shut it off. Just decide to listen to whatever you want to listen to. So you still have that ability to do that if you choose to.
I mean, it's media. I mean, it's just more of it. It's more instant now than it ever was. But I think we always tried to be as honest as we could with the media. I mean, at times we wouldn't answer questions, and I think a lot of the media knew that if we couldn't answer, it probably was true. But I think the media coverage that we had, the writers that were in the, I think we had the best media writers, columnists, beat writers in the country at the time. And they wrote, they had stories, they got stories, and sometimes you try to negotiate, can you hold it? But I think as iconic as that team was, I think the media that covers us back then, the beat writers and the columnists were iconic as well.
For Billy and Pat, it's not only 25 years since they lost with the finals, it's been 25 years since they've been out in the second round. Whether it's bad decision making like you see today with Paul, bad trades, bad draft. Is there an underlying theme, underlying factor you've seen why this franchise has been kind of like stuck in the middle for 25 years?
It's hard. It really is hard. I mean, I think people take it for granted. I think it's easy you got to get lucky. You got to be healthy. But it is hard. I mean, after that run, trying to put it back together, I sat and I see it's hard to do it, to duplicate it. But you really got to get lucky. And, if you think back, the ball in Toronto, how many times it bounced on the rim, if that ball doesn't go in, it's a different story. If you go back to Vince Carter, his shot bouncing off, it fell in our favor. That goes in, it's a whole different story for this team. So I think it is really, really hard to win in the NBA, and you got to get lucky.